Good morning, class. Welcome back. Today, let us start a first chapter from geography, that is the Earth in the solar system. Our solar system has major and minor heavenly bodies called planets, satellites, asteroids, and smaller bodies is called metroids and comets revolving around the sun. Now, starting with the solar system, let's understand how this name came into existence. So, what we'll study in this chapter is the solar system and the major elements of the solar system, and earth in particular. Now, before we start with all these, let's understand a broad picture where most of us a bit confused. So if I talk about let's say so this is my first circle, which denotes universe. Okay, universe. And this universe is made up of numerous galaxies. So it's made up of galaxies. Now, galaxies can be of many types. The galaxy in which we lived is a Milky Way. It's called a Milky Way. Alright? Or we call it's a Akash Ganga in Hindi. Within this galaxy, let's say this is the Milky Way galaxy, and within this galaxy we have the solar system. Solar system. Or let's say in broad terms that we have those star system that exist. And one such kind of star system is a sun, and we have the solar system, which is the element of universe. So we have numerous galaxy. One such galaxy is Milky Way. Solar system is part of Milky Way. Now let's continue with the stars. These are luminous bodies. It means they have their own heat and light. Stars are made of hot burning gases. They are usually very big in size, but as they are very far away from us, they look small and tiny, like little dots in the sky. Our sun is also a star. It looks bigger and brighter because compared to other stars, it is much nearer to our Earth. If you see the sky at night, you will find that some stars appear single, whereas some others can be in group. So groups of stars forming a particular patterns are called constellations. Okay, one such constellation is a group of 7 stars, which is called the Saptarishi. The Saptarishi form a part of the constellation of the Big Bear, also known as Ursa Major in Latin. The Saptarishi are regarded as very important because in ancient times they used to guide the sailors at night. The first 2 stars of the Saptarishi always point to the pole star, which constantly shine on the North Pole. Thus, when one direction, that is the north direction, was found in, it was quite easy to know the other 3 directions. Like the Saptarishi, there are many other constellations or stars in the sky. Stars are very far off from our Earth. The light from the stars passes through different layers of the atmosphere, which varying densities. As a result, they seems to be twinkling. Stars are so far off from us that we cannot understand or express the distance in kilometers or miles. So the distance that light travels in a year is called a light year. There are some stars which are so far off that it may take millions of years for their light to reach us, while the light from our own sun reaches us in about 8 minutes. The light of Proxima Centauri, the nearest star to our sun, reaches us in 4 years. As you can see here in a picture, figure 16.1 commonly seen constellations, and all of these 12 are the constellation based on which we have the 12 zodiac signs. Beside that, we have the Ursa Major and Ursa Minor, which are two major constellations that exist. Now the yellow sections of the Ursa Major is also known as the Big Dipper or the Big Bear. So this is a shape of a bear, so it form a shape of the bear. That's why it's called Big Dipper or the Big Bear. And this is star from the Saptarishi Mandal or the seventh star, which form the Saptarishi Mandal as we call it in Hindi. Beyond this, here as you can see, it has a tail, and at the tail you have the brightest stars, which is known as Aliod, and this is the brightest star in the Ursa Major. So this is all about the constellations. Okay, now moving on to the solar system, but we have classification of planet. As you can see, let us understand first the 8 major planets, and the planet system is classified into two. First is the terrestrial planets, and the second one is Jovians. Jovian means huge, okay, huge planets. So we have terrestrial planets which are considered up to Mars, okay, that is closest to the sun is Mercury. Then we have Venus, Earth, and Mars. So Earth is third closest to the sun, but fifth largest in Mars. These 4 planets considered as terrestrial planets, these are small and rocky natured. However, we have here Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, which are giant planets. They are large and considered to be as low density planets. Within these giant planets, we have further 2 classifications, that is the Jupiter and Saturn are considered mainly gas planets, okay. However, Uranus and Neptune are basically considered ice planets. So ice, which is predominant in Uranus and Neptune, it is gas that is now beyond Neptune. It has a kind of belt which is known as Kuiper belt. Now let's see the solar system. The solar system means the family of the sun. The sun and the 8 planets that revolves around the sun are members of the solar system. The 8 planets are Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Besides the sun and the planets, there are some smaller celestial bodies as well as in the solar system. These small bodies are called satellites. The satellites revolve around the planets in the same way as the planets revolve around the sun. Our Earth has one satellite which we call the moon. So let me define one by one. Let's see. First, Mercury. Mercury is the closest to the sun and takes 88 days to go around the sun and sun on its orbit. Life is not possible on this planet as there is no water and atmosphere around this planet. Venus. It is the second planet from the sun and closest to the earth. It is the brightest planet in the solar system. Its size is almost the same as that of Earth. This is our Earth. On number 3rd, it is the 3rd planet of the sun and the only planet to have life on it. It revolves around the sun and also rotates on its axis, causing day and night. Mars. It is red in color, hence called red planet. It has a large amount of water as ice is formed on polar caps. It is believed that there is some possibility of plant life on this planet. Jupiter. This is the largest planet of the solar system. It is so large that around 1300 Earths can be placed inside it. Its surface is coal and it's made of several gases like hydrogen, helium, and methane. Next is Saturn. It is a unique planet because it has 3 beautiful rings around it, possibly made of ice, known as Kuiper belt. It has very low temperature. It is least dense among all the planets. Number 7. Uranus. Uranus. It appears screen on being viewed through a telescope and hence also called green planet. It is very far away from the sun and there is no possibility life on it. And the last one is Neptune. It is slightly smaller than the Uranus, but it is a lifeless cold desert. It is farthest from the sun at a distance of about 4,469 million kilometers. After solar system, we have the sun. The sun is the brightest member of the solar family. All the planets and satellites etc. revolves around the sun. It is thus the center of the whole solar system. And the sun is made up of extremely hot gases and it gives out a lot of heat and light, which is the sources of all energy in the solar system. Our earth gets only a part of the energy. Without the sun's energy, our earth would become cold and lifeless. It is the sun which sustains all life. That is why many ancient people regarded the sun as a god. In the Rig Veda, there are many hymns sung in praise of the sun or Surya. You will be amazed to know that the sun is not the biggest star in the universe. It is only a medium-sized star. The bigger stars are very far away from our earth, so they look smaller than the sun. The sun looks bigger and brighter compared to other stars because it is much nearer to our earth. After sun, planets. There are 8 planets, as I told you before, in our solar system. They, according to their distance from the sun, are Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Mercury is the hottest planet because it is nearest to the sun. Planets can also be rated according to their size in the ascending order. They are Mercury, Mars, Venus, Earth, Neptune, Uranus, Saturn, and Jupiter. In this way, the largest planet in our solar system is Jupiter, while the smallest planet is Mercury. Besides, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune are larger than our Earth. Okay, while Venus, Mars, and Mercury are smaller than the Earth. As you can see here in the picture, name of the planet is given there, and according to that distance from the sun in the million kilometer. You need to learn this one. Mercury 58 million kilometers. Venus is 108 million kilometers far away from the sun. Details are given here. So the planets revolve around the sun is in fixed path, which are called their orbits. They also rotate on their own axis. All the planets move around the sun in the same direction, but they do not take the same time to complete a revolution. A planet which is nearer to the sun takes less time than the one which is further from the sun. Okay, thus Mercury, which is the nearest planet to the sun, completes a revolution in 88 days, while Neptune, which is the farthest planet, takes 164.25 years to complete it. Our Earth revolves around the sun in 365 days and 6 hours. Thus, compared to the Earth, Mercury takes less time in completing one revolution around the sun because it is nearest the sun as compared to the Earth. So the details is given here in our book. Name of the planet is given here and time of revolution around the sun. Mercury takes 88 days. Venus takes 255 days. Earth 365.25 days, and Mars 687 days. Jupiter 11.25 years. Likewise, it's given here. Let's see the star compared to planets. Now, how would you distinguish between a star and a planet is given here. A star is stationary like the sun, while a planet like the Earth is always moving or wandering. A star is a huge ball of fire and it has own light, while a planet does not have its own light. A star gives light to the planet while a planet receives the same from the star. In other words, stars act as donors while the planets act as receivers. Stars are numerous in number while planets are only nine in number. So 9 in number means before we had Pluto also, but Pluto is no longer a planet. Pluto was discovered back in 1930. So now we have only 8 planets. Okay, don't get confused. Next is our Earth, a unique planet. Our Earth is also a planet because it revolves around the Sun. It completes one revolution around the Sun in 365 half days in size. It ranks 5th after Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. If you see it from the outer space, it looks blue in color. Because of the presence of the water in its ocean and seas, it is therefore sometimes called a blue planet. In fact, our Earth is a unique planet in the whole solar system. It is considered so because of the following reason. The distance from the Earth from the Sun results in such a climate which is best suited for the development of man and other forms of life on the Earth. It is a habitable planet. It supports man and other forms of life by providing all necessities of life. Its atmosphere is rich in oxygen that makes life possible on this planet. Its atmosphere acts as a large cover to protect its surface from extreme cold and extreme heat. The ozone layer protects us from harmful sun rays. On this planet that is Earth, water occurs in vast quantities which makes life possible on Earth, as water is quite essential for all of life. The water is quite important for all forms of life. The Earth is neither too hot like Mercury nor too cold like Neptune. It means temperature is about 15 degrees Celsius when it's quite suitable, which is quite suitable for the development of man and other form of life. The next is shape of the Earth. The shape of the our Earth is like a like sphere. It bulges at the equator and the flattens at the pole. This shape is also unique, and the Greek called it geoid or Earth-like shape. Earlier, it was believed that the Earth was flat, but later on, scientists proved beyond doubt that it is not flat but spherical in shape. It is round but slightly flattened at the two poles. This shape is known as geoid shape. They have been various. They have given various arguments in favor of their views. Said that it is argued that sailors like Magellan and Drake, who sailed around the world, started from one point and sailing in the same direction at last reached the same spot. If the Earth had been flat, they would have reached some abrupt edge. If we see the distant horizon from high peak, it looks circular in shape. During a lunar eclipse, the shadow of Earth on the moon is circular in shape. Only a spherical body can cast a circular shadow. While standing at the seashore, when we see a ship coming towards the port, we first see only its mast. Gradually, as it comes nearer, as we are able to see its funnel and finally its lower part. If the Earth had been flat, we would have been seen the whole ship at one side. In the picture of Earth is taken by different astronauts who went into outer space show that the Earth is spherical in shape. As you can see in figure 6.5, picture of the Earth taken from the outer space. Next we'll proceed to the satellite. The word satellite means a junior companion or an attendant. A satellite moves around the planet in the same way as a planet moves around the sun. In other words, while revolving around the planet, the satellites also revolve around the sun. Our Earth has one satellite which we call Moon, while Uranus has 27 satellites, while Neptune has 14 satellites. Mercury and Venus have no satellites. Satellites, like the planets, have no light or heat of their own. They reflect the light of the sun. There are more differences between them. While planets revolve the sun, the satellites revolve around the planets. For example, the Earth revolves around the sun, but the moon, a satellite, moves around the Earth. Next is the moon. The moon completes its revolution around the earth in 29 days and 8 hours. It also completes its rotation on its own axis in the same time. As a result, it shows only one side to us, while the other side of the moon remains away from us. The moon is the largest and the brightest object in the night sky. It is the only natural satellite of the Earth. It shines because of its light-colored surface reflects sunlight. As the moon revolves around the Earth, its shape seems to change every night. We see varying amount of its sun-lit part called phases of the moon. So it has no light of its own. It reflects the sun's light, which reaches the earth in 1.25 seconds. The moon does not look the same every night. It keeps on changing it in phase every night. As discussed above, it has no light of its own and it simply reflects the light of the sun. Moreover, it revolves around the earth and the earth revolves around the sun. All these phenomena make the moon change its look every night. So we can see the full moon only once in about a month's time. It is full moon night, that is called Purnima. After 15 days time we can watch the night sky, but provided it is a cleared cloudless night, this is called new moon night or the Amavasya. The moon has no atmosphere. We only find dust and rock. In recent years, space explorations have provided a lot of information to us about the moon's surface. An American astronaut, Neil Armstrong, was the first man to land on the moon. Samples of the lunar soil have also been brought by several space missions. They all show that the moon's surface is very rough and uneven. There is no air or water on the moon and it is very hot during the day, while the night are very cold. As a result, there is no life on the moon. Now next is other celestial bodies. Beside the planets and satellites, there are numerous other small celestial bodies which move around the sun. They are also known as asteroids, meteoroids, and comets. Let's discuss one by one. And the first one is asteroids. Asteroids, they are very small planets like bodies which revolves around the sun between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter. They are believed to be the pieces of a bigger planet which exploded soon after their birth. The largest asteroid is the Ceres. Next is meteoroids. Meteoroids are small pieces of solid mass which move about in the sky, revolving around the sun. Sometimes they enter the Earth's atmosphere with great speed. They become heated by friction and start burning. That is why sometimes meteoroids are also called shooting stars. Mostly they burn off in the sky and disappears as gases and dust. Sometimes they even hit the earth and we find small pieces of iron and stones scattered hither and thither, here and there. These parts of the meteoroids are called meteorites, which we can see in some museums. Now next is comet. There is another category of heavenly bodies known as comets. They too move around the sun, but they follow long, elongate orbits. They appear as beautiful shining bodies in the sky with long tails. As they have long orbits, they appear after long intervals. The most famous comet is the Halley's Comet, which appeared after every 76 years. Last time it appeared in 1986. It is named after British scientist Edmund Halley, who first discovered it. Next is the Earth is the universe. Our Earth is very vast. It is not possible even to imagine the vastness of the space. The universe is the whole body of star, planets, gases. The dusk, there are millions of star and star systems called galaxies. Our Earth is also a member of one such galaxy, as I told you before. That is called the Milky Way or Akash Ganga in Hindi. In this vast universe of millions of stars, our Earth is like a tiny dot. Some of these stars are so far away from us that light from them takes thousands of years to reach us. Now let's proceed to the last topic, that is India's space program. India's space program began in 1975 with the launching of Aryabhata, the first Indian satellite into space with the help of Russia, when two other satellites, namely Bhaskara 1 and Bhaskara 2, were sent into space in 1979 and 1981 respectively with Soviet help. After this, India with the help of USA launched INSAT 1A and INSAT 1B into space in 1983. The launching of INSAT 1B proved quite successful then. In 1984, squadron leader Rakesh Sharma was sent into space along with two other Russian cosmonauts. India's space program took another leap forward with the launching of INSAT 2 series. They provide space service for telecommunication, meteorological observations, TV broadcasting, disaster warning, and data collecting. The artificial satellites have proved very useful in telecommunication and meteorology, TV relay, and broadcasting. In a single day in June 2016, ISRO launched 20 satellites into space, most of them foreign. In 2014, Indian space vehicle Mangalyaan was launched into the orbit of Mars to carry out exploration and discoveries. INSAT 3, they are the most advanced meteorological satellites of India, was launched by GSLV-FO5 on 8 September 2016. So, dear children, Indian space program started in 1975 with the launching of Aryabhatta, the first Indian satellite first satellite. India also launched INSAT 1 and INSAT 2 series, which proved quite successful, and Rakesh Sharma was sent to space in 1984 after launching INSAT 3 series of satellite. Now India is also with the plan to launch INSAT 4 series of satellite. So likewise, this story is ended up here. The Earth in the solar system. Now there is a homework for you from Geography chapter 1, which we discussed just now, page number 115. You have to do 1, 2, and 3. Okay, question number 1, 2, and 3. Number 1, hidden planet. In this word grid, okay, as you can see on that grid are hidden 8 planets. Names are there. Look for them and write down their names in the correct order according to size and distance from the sun. In left hand side, according to size is given here, you have to write n from the distance from the sun. And next is a crossword. Solve the crossword from the hint below. The largest planet in the solar system, you have to write in that box. The fourth planet from the sun, okay, which I've explained. Changing shape of the moon. Indian satellite in its space, okay, you have to name that. And downside planet in between Saturn and Neptune, blue planet, which one is called blue planet, you have to write name. Planet which rings around, you have to name that planet which has ring. A heavenly body having its own heat and light. And number 3, jumble word. Arrange the letter in the following words from the hint provided. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 questions are given there. And you can get answer from your book itself. So do your homework and do not forget to send me in my personal WhatsApp number, and study well. Take care.